Give me a little more time to file in one more time. Wake up, everybody. No more sleeping in bed. Grand rising, everybody. Rooftop theme courtesy of yours truly. I don't know how that became the rooftop theme. I just kept putting it on, and I'm like, that's the rooftop theme. How are you doing? Yes. How are you?
I'm good. Grand afternoon to you. Grand rising to everyone else. I mean, you're saying no more sleeping in bed because you've been up, what, 10 hours already?
Yeah, before the bedtime soon, right?
Mm-hmm. Grand rising, everyone. I missed you all. But, circumstances alter cases. So we're here now. How's everybody doing? I hope
Well,
all is well.
I want to say Miss Scurv said thank you, even though we didn't make some official
Yes,
announcement. I'm
yes,
just saying that her father passed away,
yes.
and you can remember kind of way back a couple of years ago, I did a live stream with him when we lived in Orlando. It wasn't a full thing. I think he kind of came in for a few minutes and spoke a little bit. And we had some fun. And I got like various clips and videos and pictures and stuff.
Right.
And it wasn't like it was unexpected. But you don't think of those things when you have like a kind of, he was 84 years old, and I think it was some respiratory stuff going on with his breathing, and he was diabetic. And like I said, the combination of things, and he was strong. He was very strong. He worked up until like a few weeks before he ended up in the hospital.
Oh, wow.
He was retired for many, many decades, but he just liked to, I could see where Mrs. Scurv gets that from. He likes to work. He likes to do things. I have a picture on I think it's on my Instagram, where it was about maybe 2 or 3 years ago that he climbed this tall coconut tree and dropped down the coconuts when I was in Miami with him. And that's the way he is. I mean, it was up there. It was like 3 stories high, the 2.5 stories high, to get to the coconuts and stuff. So he had his lawn business, and he would do that. And that's what kind of kept him. And so what I get from that is that, no matter what you do, you can officially say you're retired, but you have to keep your hands moving. If you get into just sitting around, it's just going to add on, hasten your time when, physically you transition. So
exactly.
So that's me more. I got to get myself more active.
Keep your mind sharp, keep your body moving. Yeah.
Getting my site and everything together where I can just create and drop, and everything runs on its own. So anyway, it was something that was in the back of my mind. I said, okay, he's always pulled through at little things, but he wasn't a sick person. He's very strong. And the main thing is that he had his mind. That's the main thing. And that's what Mrs. Scurv was saying this morning before she went up on the property there. She said, at least he had his mind.
Exactly.
To the very end, he had his mind, right? Even when he had the breathing difficulties, he on the phone, he has tremendous sense of recall, whatever happened decades ago, whose birthday, family member, old stories and different things. So that's the main thing. Protect your mind.
Exactly.
Body, you want to protect your body too. You want to protect everything, but each requires a special care. And you got to keep yourself sharp. You got to keep your body, because that's going to house the mind. Keep your spirits up, live life, and whatever you have to heal with or deal with it, because it keeps it unclogged. I mean, he's a person who was always so quick to laugh. he was always so quick to laugh. And I'm glad I have that trait, even though I look mean sometime in the street. But you got to keep your spirits light, because it seems like when you're quick to laugh, that means you have a lot of things cleared away. Even if you're angry, you come out of it and you're quick to see the humor in the
True,
situation.
true, 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 true. Yeah.
He was always cracking jokes. So when me and him got together, we were always cracking jokes. And it's minor, but one of the memories I have of him in my mind, and I was sharing it with Mrs. Scurv, and she remembers it, that when he'd come up, because he lived in Miami, so he'd come up to Orlando and spend a couple weeks. And so he always wanted to watch the news. He was always interested in what was going on in the world, even though we know that that's, kind of tampered with, and that's another person's slant. That was a thing for him, So he'd always make sure to sit down, and he loved CNN. And I explained to him all these different things. We'd have some deep discussions, although I have to admit that he was kind of stuck sort of in a religious way of thinking.
True.
In mind. We never argued. He would ask me, maybe Mrs. Scurv and him might have some more intense. That is not like that.
Spirited discussion.
Exactly. You've been going to this place for so long. You still waiting on him to show up, whatever. And then he defended a little bit, and you see him thinking. But when you get to a certain age, it's like you've been in a certain line for so long. Now you got to realize wrong line. You got to get out and go to the end. Nobody wants to do that,
right.
So, but he would always love like Anderson Cooper. Lance, Anderson Cooper's on. Come on. I called him champ, and he called me champ. So I think on the show, it's there, but there's so many. I mean, there's so many shows we've done over the years. It was a live stream, and I got to find it. And that particular night, we did the live stream, and the sugar was off a little bit.
Right. Oh, wow.
During the show, I had to end it. During the show, just a little. I mean, I'm not saying anything bad, but during the show, Mr. Scurv was at work. During the show, he went into the other room that he was sleeping in, went into the closet to get something, and fell.
Oh, wow.
Boom! I'm like, what the hell? Then I heard him talking for a split second. Then I was like, listen, I'm going to have, I ran in there, and he had fallen to the ground. He was kind of talking out his head. But what I'm saying is that he's strong. He only stopped driving like maybe a year and a half ago because they told him with the diabetes and he would get disoriented. So, they told a couple of times he went out there and got caught, and was like, listen, it's just slide, but you can't. He just kept pushing.
Yeah, that happens. Yeah, yeah. They want to do it.
Yeah. So he had his ducks in a row as far as everything's taken care of. And this is why I tell people it's very important to have everything arranged. We don't want to face those things, but it's a reality, and it makes it easier on your family. So that being said, everything's taken care of. So, for those who getting emotional and reminisce, you don't have to deal with this cost this amount or passing around a cup saying, oh, we don't have the money to bury him, or whichever way, whatever. It's very important that you have some consideration for your family while they're going through the loss of you, to have all those things taken care of, and to even go a step further to let them know. I have a friend of mine that has everything set up, everything. I mean, down to this is the medication that we're on from this day to if it's that way. These are the pass codes or passwords to a Facebook page. If you have any weaponry, any guns, this is registration papers with
right.
And they already know it. It's not like we got to go dig for this stuff. It's like this happens, you go there. This happened, and he wrote an instruction sheet. First person you call is this. This is what you do. This is what we need to do. A lot of us who are fastening up in people's business and gossip and all these different things that are irrelevant, take some time. And I don't want to, but you're into somebody else's business. Handle your business. Have your ducks in a row. And this is the problem. And to pull back from that, even what we're doing here in Ghana, and the rumor got around even more severe. Lance and all that money he making from YouTube and building a house. No.
Really?
Yeah. And again, there are people who are so hell bent on saying that I worked all my life.
I know.
And I have a pension, and I still have different streams of income. And even then, things can get tight. So stop saying that. I don't. What I make. Look, when it comes time, please, I will screenshot what I make from YouTube, $200-$300, whatever have you. I'll screenshot. You're not supposed to do that. They can pull your channel for that,
Well, then there's no need for you to do that. Like, really? No.
No, I mean, it's not a guilt thing. Like, yeah, I'm making,
No, it's not a guilt.
whatever. But no, but it's sickening that people who are butthurt that they would run and take the time to do that, and they have their own platforms, and they may not be doing so good.
It can remain butthurt. YouTube channel and your personal life, are two different things.
Right.
So if you make a few dollars on YouTube, it goes right back into YouTube, and we all see that. We see that it goes back into YouTube. We see that it goes back into your platform. If nobody can see that, I'm sorry, then I don't know what to tell you.
That's aside from
what
the time.
you do with your personal life. Everybody has to live somewhere. Everybody has to eat. You got to get around. We don't tell the people that we help to support on these other various channels. We don't tell them how to live their life. We don't tell them how to use the money we give them. They do whatever the hell they want to do with it. Why do we have to justify anything on this channel?
Well, see what it is. These individuals had the same desire to come out to Ghana.
Mm-hmm.
And, they just didn't push hard enough.
No, but
I said, listen, hey, you can come bunk with me, whatever, till you get on your feet, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And when they showed their hand, when they showed their ass, and actually did stuff to me, as far as a little cyber attacks, whatever, I just focused on what I had to do and move on, and we're here. And
exactly.
We do a lot of things with creativity. We've run into the right people to make things look a certain way. And every day, that's the part that no one sees, especially the work that Mrs. Scurv is putting in.
Right.
She's more of a person who looks over construction better than me.
Right.
She around that. And I have to be here as a man that if I have to go deal with these little agencies and lands commissions, and Ghana is a place where
it's very sexist.
Yeah, and the women. So I have to deal with these guys. They don't play with me that way.
I know.
So we work together as a team. But what's being created, they will still say, there'll be some who say, yeah, he must be really. No, they got a lot of people out here, as you saw in that video, that the brother from Nigeria, and I'm going to go back to him this week and take my time and get the next few days and get a real in-depth interview and have him explain certain things. That was a drive-by with the cell phone. But did you see how he made how the guy made the moldings and he pulled across, and toward the end, the way he was humping up and down, I said, goatee style. You know what I mean? I'm always
I know.
And if anybody doesn't know what that means, I said goatee style, because you see the goats out here having sex instead of doggy style. Right? Girl, not to be lewd, but I thought that was ingenious, that you'd probably have to buy those things out in America, and you go to this builders, buy this molding or whatever. No,
of course.
They laid it down and they cut notches in the wood, and he pulled it across and let it dry. To me, that's ingenious.
That's phenomenal. Yeah.
What they do with ceilings. If you see what they do with ceilings, I'm going to shut up about that after that. But if you see what this guy and there's several others, they do with ceilings. Just on the ceiling tip. You won't want to build nothing in America, or there's nobody.
Save up your money, people. Listen, save up your monies, because
what they do with ceilings and the lights and everything, you feel like you're in the Starship Enterprise. It's like drop a chandelier in that bed. It'll be like, yo, look at that.
Yeah.
So
I look at those homes, and I say it all the time. I am absolutely fascinated with the workmanship, with the creativity. And these are ordinary people's homes. And those homes over here, if you drove past them, you think, oh, some uber wealthy person lives in that home. Just the way they lay it out, and everything is, you could drop this in, what do you call it? Tornado alley, and nothing is going to happen to that house.
Only the roof might be affected a little bit, because even the roofs over here, they're so strong and everything like that, but we don't have there may be an occasional rare tornado, but that's really not common. And hurricanes, and this is where hurricanes come from. We throw them over here over to America.
Exactly.
But it's really not that, because you have the mountains, you have the coast,
and it breaks it up.
Yeah, that doesn't happen. Like say in Florida, it's like a
Yeah.
three-sided island. So there's always some type of friction going on. It's like a three-sided island. It's like three people living in one room. There's always going to be some kind of tension. But
Right, right.
a little different. But when it does rain, it comes down hard. But then it's over. It doesn't last like, man, it's been raining for the last 2 days. It's
Right.
never like, but you know, when I'm more mobile, which I'll work on that later on, but then I can show you the things that I see. Like I tell everybody that ask me to say, man, show me this, show me that. You know, I don't have a car yet. And that's by design.
Right.
And when that time comes, I can go crossways, sideways, here, there. I'll bring more rich content on that Ghanaian tip. Because like I say, before I was in the discussion and I was saying how this channel was established before I got out to Africa, right?
Right.
So folks expect, there are a lot of folks who thought I was going to turn it into like this whole, every video was going to be Africa. I love it. I have to remain intact with what I come from and what built me to this point. And that, and that's the love that I get from my folks in America, right?
Right.
So that's why I have it and do scheduling according to the East Coast. I'm not going to just do it over here for this time period and just, okay, I'm over here now, to hell with y'all. No, that's where my heart is. That's where the people I love. I love some of the people here, but all those years, I'm not going to change that. Right.
Right.
So, you know, in doing that, it will not be like other, because folks say, well, this one does this. Well, trust me, when I start doing that stuff with all the time that I have and all the projects are done and I have nothing else to do, I said, let me go to this restaurant. Let's go to this other city. Let's drive here. Let's catch the sunset over here and this and that. That particular slice that is on the LanceScurv platform it's just gonna whip ass.
Oh yeah.
And I'm not competing with nobody. I'm just saying that anything I put my hands on, we get into all the way. So that when it comes time to the homes, and I'll be able to help more because I can't really, you know, I don't know everything about here because I've been so focused inside a lot. When I go outside, it's specifically to go here to get this done.
True.
This
But
next week
can you imagine when you start offering your creative design skills to these people?
Exactly. Yeah. Just like I have an idea that came through a mistake. I'm not going to get too specific, but I'll tell you later on. When we went to that house that you saw in that video, it was a driveway that went all the way back outside of the wall. It was like not narrow, but two cars can go in. And I thought it was connected to that house. And I was like, man, that's a good idea. That way, when you're in front, you don't have to open up your gates and the whole world look down on your property.
Right.
To a house that was way back, but the main entrance was on the other block. I was like, yo, that's a secret entrance. That's cool. But not that I want that, but I saw how that looked. And I'm going to incorporate that in a very unique way because it hit me. I got the plans in my head and I'm very happy with that. And I'm going to do that idea. And it's for a reason. And one day when I show, you know, when everything's a certain way, we start doing the Mrs. Scurv stuff. Now, you know, Mrs. Scurv has to deal with a lot with her. So a lot of things we have had planned with her.
Got to push it back.
Please understand that we said, you know, from next month, we're going to have to push that back because, you know, everything affects everything. And who would have that even with him passing away would affect me where we have to rearrange certain things time-wise. So just bear with me on that. But we're not up this content. It's just that the last couple of days since we found out, we didn't sleep.
It's been crazy. Yeah.
It was not until when? Was it yesterday? Was it yesterday? Yeah. I slept. And then now I got up, made a run out, came back and fell asleep again. You see, this is the way it is, and we'll get on with the show. When you get to a certain level of fatigue, it's not a matter of hours. We think that like, well, I slept 2 days I was up, so I'll just put an extra 4 hours on the next 2 days and I'll be made up. No. Once you go into your resources that deep, because we had the after I was up all night and caught up on my website, it wasn't until 6 in the morning, but I knew I had an appointment at 10. So I was to sleep. I had to get ready. So we went to care of business and we were there most of the day. And that's why we didn't even do a show that day because I intended on coming in. I'll put my head down. I was gone. So there's a human element to this. Like if there were like 50 people that, you know, whatever, but no, that's the way it was. So I slept, got up, got up now, did some things, boom, came back and slept. I still feel groggy. Once you go past a certain level of digging into your reserves, your
It
nerve.
takes a while.
I'm not a nervous person, jittery or whatever. I'm very strong. I feel myself. But it drained me so much that to get out of that hole, it's going to take me a week, but I'm still going to function. I'm good now. I'm back online.
Right.
But because we were
I know.
sweating,
I know.
waiting in lines, talking to people, taking care of some very serious business. So nothing bad, but I'm just saying routine stuff. And wow, I'm glad it's done. It's like, whoa, glad it's done. But the drain, I was hungry when we ate when we were out there. I came back, I was hungry again. I took a bite of a little bit of something and fell asleep. I sat on the side of the bed and I was eating something in my hand. I laid back. I woke up. The fruit was all on the bed. That's how. Same thing with her.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we were like dope addicts, man. We were out. We overdosed, man. On yeah. So that's the part that, because of the cerebral dealings of the site and everything, and under the hood, and all else, and the stuff hill, the stuff here, and this and that, and then the emotional, because she didn't sleep all night also. And I was concerned for her. I was seeing, I didn't want to keep asking, because things don't hit you right away. So it wasn't like she was some nervous wreck or anything and just run around crying. But it was like, what, she felt it, and she's probably going to feel it, as the days go by even more when it sinks in. So it's just to par. And
the initial shock of it didn't, stuff don't usually register on initial shock. You know what I mean? And you react. Everybody reacts differently. Some people, they lose their marbles and start screaming and carrying on, and then they come together and it's like, okay, I got that out of my way. Let's move on. Other people, it may take weeks, days, weeks, years. Sometimes, look, I don't know if that happened to you, but I remember when my dad died, I cried for a couple seconds. You know what I mean? Because he had been sick for so long. But
thank you.
it wasn't until like a couple of years later, I was sitting in a park somewhere, just because I usually like to go to the park and just sit, watch the ducks, look at the water, whatever, and all of a sudden it hit me. It literally hit me. My dad's not here anymore.
Yeah. It's a little thing.
Yeah.
Things that. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And for me, I still have like thoughts, like I'll dream that I'm like maybe 8 years old in Queens and my mother's making breakfast, and I'm really there in my mind, and I'm dreaming this. I don't know nothing about what happened after. It's weird. There's got to be a name. I mean, we know it's dreams and thoughts, but there's got to be a way, and I guess we'll find out after we transition that we'll be there. We'll know what it is, and we don't know everything, but we'll be a little more advanced. I think with every level that we go up, we're more aware of the other stuff. And it's like, it's so easy to digest because we're already on that level.
Right.
Again, I use the analogy. You're in third grade and all of a sudden it's like, oh my God, I'm going to fourth grade. I'm terribly afraid, but you're already a fourth grader and you don't know it. So the transition for me, the way I think about it is like, well, why don't we learn as much as we can, not just on some physical level. That's cool. And understand that on the physical level, there's spiritual lessons in it. Right. But get that intuitive thing going on. That is the real thing that's going to guide you to that next level.
Right.
And that transition. And don't fear it. Right now, I refuse to clog up my time remaining on this earth with the fear of
worry.
It is going to come and it is going to happen. So why am I freaking out about it? Enjoy what you have here. Learn, vibrate, be the best person you can. Don't be venomous. Don't be jealous. Don't try to put up a false whatever. Be who you are and leave this place better in your path than the way you found it.
Exactly.
So we control. They call it funeral. They'll say memorial service. They say this, but you control the dynamic of your funeral right now. Meaning you control what's going to be said, even if they say the false words for the production, but the whispers in the parking lot and the phone calls after. Did you see that girl? That's the one he was messing with. And so you control that now. Make it a beautiful situation. Make it a beautiful situation. Like for me, what I always say, I want my memorial, funeral, whatever it may be. And I face it. I talk about it. I want it to be one big networking party. I want everybody to be laughing. I want people to tell stories that I never told, but one person knows and I forgot to tell.
Right.
You know what I mean? Make it like
We're
that.
gonna
Make it
have
like
to have a couple of memorials because the first one is just gonna be for everybody to bawl their eyes out. You know.
oh, no. If there's any tears, let it be where you have tears and you crack it up at the same time.
Oh
Like,
yeah, you should do that. You should do that.
you know, I'll accept that. I don't want nobody crying. You know what I mean?
Oh God. Oh my goodness, that's funny. So after we get that out of the way and okay, y'all good, you're good. Okay, now let's have a real memorial service and we can laugh and talk and say all the good things and anyway, let's get off of that topic.
Yeah, yeah.
Tammy and let me see who's the other person. Tammy Thornton and there's another person. They're on the wrong YouTube.
Oh,
So that's
okay.
why their stuff isn't being seen.
Okay. So if you're probably on Scurv Media
Yeah,
or Lance Scurvin, the full name,
yeah.
Scurvin. So you want to come
They
over
want to
to
come
Lance
over.
Scurv.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's where
There's
everybody is.
Yesu, Yesu Yeshua. Yesu
Yeah,
Yeshua and Tammy Thornton come over to Lance Scurvs
right.
because they're
Because I
posting
broadcast
and
those
yeah.
channels and keep a little active, but this is the main one.
Mm-hmm.
But I keep those going because sometimes people, I don't know, they'll run across that before they run this, run across this.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, like it's something that when we look at, and we're off the subject. I just want to say the one more thing, that when we look at each other,
Mm-hmm.
realize that time of graduation is coming. And
Yeah.
so you ought to really appreciate them as they're right in front of you.
Mm-hmm.
Let them know.
Yeah.
I don't understand. I don't understand how, let's put it this way. Sometimes in this life, and I never had this problem or challenge. I had a great relationship with my parents, but sometimes we can have children or grown women and men who literally
Mm-hmm.
hate a parent, but the parent didn't do anything to them.
Yeah.
I know this because everybody else who grew up with them around them was like, yo, how could you even say that? That was never an issue. And
Mm-hmm.
they're creating a reality now to go against that parent that it's like, that never happened. This person's got to be crazy. But
Mm-hmm.
the world will see them and think they got so much wisdom and so much whatever, but they're spreading these stories like, he's not this, he did this, he did that.
Right. Right.
And it was never that way. And he wasn't perfect. So the little things that he did do in his misjudgments and how he handled maybe,
That's life.
speaking. Yeah, that's life. I was a little heavy handed in that situation, reacting to what happened, but
Mm-hmm.
you can understand. But that was only, yeah. Thank you, brother. Thank you. I love you too, brother. Thank you so much. And that's what it's all about at the bottom line of everything, as we discuss these topics and have this
Mm-hmm.
show. It's out of love because it's giving me a lifeline as far
Right.
as who do I know out here really? I know people, I've met people, but it's not dyed in the wool like here, that even if we haven't met or will never meet face to face or will, it's a connection and it's a real connection.
Right.
And for me to everybody here, that's what it is. It's not like, it's not like I'm saying, well, I can go on the beach and I can go here. No, I could do those things, but what keeps me here all these hours is a foundation of love. And I may not be right in everything that I talk about, and I'm not trying to be. I'm just sharing myself, talents, and bringing us together. The little graphics. Okay, let's hang out. Let's
Right.
talk.
Right.
But you have some who are really off their rocker, and you think that they're of sane mind. But those type of personalities can be so charismatic and so convincing, and so thank you so much, Onika. Thank you. Yeah, and it's like you're saying this about this person. You straight and you going around saying I don't care, and nah, man, there's something severely wrong in that situation. And those are the people I'm glad I don't have to deal with no more. I'm saying, you knew it was coming.
I knew it was coming.
Where's so and so? No. You
How'd
won't
you
see
take
them.
so long to get to that? Like seriously, how'd you take so long?
One day I will write a book on those kind of things, like my dealings on all things cyber. Boy, y'all look quick. I should have knocked that guy off, but then
Who did
boom.
it? Probably
Oh yeah,
Onika. Oh, Yala.
yeah,
Hey,
but
sweetie. How you doing?
sometimes you're like, But if I write that
Mm.
and hint at things and you know the names,
Mhm.
you'll be like, you lying.
I know.
You lying.
I know.
No. Yet the people who come at me in the name of the imagery that they believe in that other person or other people, because there's several,
Mhm.
and they coming after me. Hey,
Mhm.
we knew you jealous. How am I going to promote and do and push and be happy and work hard, but be jealous? Please get out of here. Like I told Mrs. Scurv this morning
Mhm.
or last night, I said my father raised me a certain way, and he
Right.
said I'm not going. He says I'm not going to raise no jealous man. No, you got to be motivated, and like he
Yes.
said, and I carry that with me. Jealousy is the flip side of motivation, the coin.
Mhm.
If you're not motivated, you don't have to be running out there like
Yeah.
Rocky, going towards something, but you're motivated for something and you have a history of a desire to uplift yourself or pursue something, even if you stopped in a certain area and pursued something else because you found that, well, I don't like that. That's okay. But at least be reaching for something, even if it's just to pick up a book to learn. It don't mean that everybody has to have like this big business. I'm going into business. It may be some small thing you're looking to do or something you're looking to do to help people improve yourself. But be motivated. Whatever it is that you do, be motivated in what you're doing. If you're not motivated, then you're jealous. It's cut and dried.
Cut and dry.
If you're around a person and they're
Yeah.
doing
Yeah.
and you stick on your behind,
Yeah.
I'm not saying you're initially
Yeah.
that way, but that's a thing where after a while you have
Yeah.
nowhere else to go. But because you don't look, if I see somebody do something, I'm not copying that thing.
Mm-mm.
What I'm going to do is that's going to motivate me to do the thing that I want to do for me in my way.
Exactly.
Like I said, my father had a client years ago. He was an architect, white man, rich millionaire guy, lived in the village. I told you about them.
Mhm.
His passion was World War II and collecting these model tanks that he put together. You know, the tanks you glue and you put together. They had a company that had all these different types of tanks, and he could sit there and tell you, well, in this part of World War II, this particular tank was used in the Battle of so and so, and it actually killed 87 people on this particular. I'm like, this guy's brilliant. But that was his thing. That's what brought him joy. It don't have to be what everybody else does, but he was motivated. He had something that he pursued. And as you saw, everything at one time that he took years to study because he was into this from a boy. So they didn't have those kind of tanks then. So as he got older, he found that, and that was his passion. It might not mean anything to me, but was fascinating that he was in it deep. You know, my friend there, I'm retarded. What's your excuse? The one who would always tell his father for molesting him. He had a part of his brain because he's autistic also, but he had a part of his brain that for 1950s music, stuff like that, because he's older than me, you know, so he grew up around the doo-wop era. He had all of these records. And every night in his mind, he would do a doo-wop show. Now, he's alive, right? Now, if he had that sense, or like if he was around me now, I'd be like, yo, set up a YouTube channel. I'll help you, but I want you to talk on it. Now, speech is like a little, sometimes he says words because he's developmentally delayed, but you understand them. So he used to go in his room, and this is love. He had an old record player, play records, lay on the bed, and talk to the audience that wasn't there.
Really?
1954 hit. It came out as a hit in April 17th, 1954, and it lasted for so many weeks on the chart. So I got to tell you something about this after. And he played a song, and then he talked about the song. So and so, the three members in there, one died in a car crash on November 17th, and his head was beheaded.
Out.
And you put your ear like, what the F?
Man.
No, it was like that. So even though he was molested and he had his issues with development and stuff like that, he was extremely, and he had, and he said he always invited me into the room, but he was kind of like musty, and didn't work. You know what I mean? But sometimes I did in there and bear it, and he was doing this thing, and he'd fold up a piece of paper like a mic, and he'd talk into the mic. It was brilliant. And he, like I said, y'all are missing out.
Was he like a Rain Man kind of person?
Yes. Now here's the other one, and we'll go on with the stories and stuff. With him, he was working in Publix, and he would sweep and pull back the shopping carts. And he's he's a grown man by then. They moved to Florida, and I connected with them one time and lost contact again. But that's what he did. And he was telling me how the little old ladies in the morning and everybody who got the coffee, and not just them, but everybody else who came in, the little old ladies like, yo, come over here. This man is brilliant. You know what he'd do? He'd tell you what day you were born if you told him your birthday.
Oh.
And it took no more than 3 seconds. And he would tell them, and I'm imitating him not to make fun of him, but just so you can hear his voice. Yeah, if you take me 5 seconds, then I'm gonna buy your coffee for you this morning. And he said he never had to buy nobody coffee. He said, I got scared 4 seconds.
Could you imagine what the mind of those individuals look like if you could see it play across a screen? You know, like the flashes, how things connect, how the memory and how putting stuff together works.
But in that part, it's so super brilliant, and the other part is a little deficient. So we see that he's walking up and down, get out of here, old retarded so-and-so. But a person like him could probably put together a rocket or draw the plans for an entire building, you know, and do that. But those things need to be utilized when you find that in someone. It's
Look
like
at the one that did the skyline,
that's his talent. And there's certain things that maybe we don't have those extreme things, but it's spread across our whole brain.
That's the difference. Yeah.
That's why I say we all have the seeds of greatness. All of us have it in different ways.
Yeah.
But because of this world, the way it is, the farming system of the
we get lazy in the mind.
And not just that, we don't get exposed, that we get tipped off on something, because that's why with your children, you have to expose them to so much. It'll be something that they connect with. It may even be something that you think is important or relevant because you have to go out there and get a good job. And no, you employ people when you have a mind like that. It may not be when you know how to do that. You may not have the business sense, but somebody can put you into position to benefit you. And it's not just a money thing, but benefit the world. Look at that.
Yeah.
So every time you see somebody who is a little under as far as their development across the board, you got to understand or think, just like you mine for oil and gold, and what gold and what oil is under the surface of this person that you don't see. But they might be chewing at the mouth, or they might be saying something that often it can't speak right or whatever.
Take time to know them.
Person. When you see a person who's developmentally delayed, you see a person who has a super talent, but this world doesn't have the means to extract it, because they label you and that's all you are, put you on medication, whatever. No, that's evident there's something else going on.
Yeah.
There's something else going on. You got to find it though.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. We have all grown jaded in this world, towards people who are not quote unquote normal. Well, who decided what was normal? Right. Because if we have a brain and we're not, most of us are only using what they say, 5%, 3% of our brain capacity to utilize it. And then you have somebody who is deficient in one small area, but then they make up for it. It's like your 5 senses, isn't it? If you lose your eyesight, everything else becomes heightened, so your sense of smell, your sense of taste, touch, whatever, those are heightened. And then at the same time, just because you don't have a physical means of looking at something, your mind can recreate whatever it is that's going on that we see, and you might even see more than we see without sight.
Right. Well, see, even him, he would here's another little ability he had, and he'd go to his mother or the father that, because the father molested him, so he wasn't too cool with the father. They were under the same roof, so the best that they would be when they were communicating with each other. It wasn't that he always brought that up and rubbed it in his face, but they didn't have a great relationship. But the times that I saw, and remember, I dated his, younger sister, so that's my proximity to that family. So it was a study, because it was raw and dysfunction. Well, we all come from more or less dysfunctional families. To some degree, there's some kind of dysfunction somewhere.
Oh, yeah.
But this was severe. This was a severe situation. So he'd wake up in the morning, and he'd come down to the mother. Now, this wasn't every day. He'd say, Mama, who is Auntie Beulah? Oh my God. Did I tell you about her? No, I was just laying in the bed. The name came in my head, and I just came down because I know he's not saying he saw these people, talk to these people. Names would come in his head, right? So this told me something. So and then who was like they say in the song there with Rusty and Keeble. But let's just say who was Rusty and Keeble? He's like, oh, those are the two guys that were on the block and they used to mess around with these girls, and one got hit in the head with a brick and died. How do you know that? Because this is stuff from when he was a little girl. You know what I'm saying? And this stuff that we all have, we all want to transfer information from our childhood to our children and tell them everything about it. And that's one of the things that serves as a purpose of me doing these shows. For my children, that they can, like, if I go and, they're like, and they're grown now, but the thing that little things that you just don't tell, that you just don't think to tell. So she doesn't know, but that tells me, and I will move on from this, but that tells me that somehow, some way,
nobody's worried that we haven't gone to the topic yet, right? I mean,
I know. We have that energy, and we don't cover it because it only takes a few minutes. We got to put up there, but yeah, the thing is that shows me that we are connected to everything around us as far as our people. Well, we're not running around recalling names from our mother or father, or great grandfather, grandmother's childhood. There's a connection there. It's like when two computers share information and you allow one computer to share. A computer is such a basic copy of brain function. It's like it doesn't even begin to go there. We are so advanced, but yet we're in awe of a computer. Man, that Apple computer I got, man, that's the best thing going. Ain't nothing been built like that. Well, look in the mirror and you'll see something better. And forevermore, I don't care if it's 500 years from now, the things that they have in science, if we're around, that it's not brilliant more than your body, your mind, your spirit, the connection to everything else. There's no GPS system. All these things are
the product of somebody's mind.
Exactly. But it's copying the body. When you look at construction and the things that grab the rocks and lift the joints, and they look at insects and lobsters and different things, how to grab things. And it looks scary because really we're looking at ourselves, and they copy that. They copy nature, and we give them credit for copying something that a bigger creator already made, whatever you want to call the creator's name, the system's name. But when you look inside, you'll see the greatness over and above. And for those people who the world tells them they're no good, you got nothing in you, you're never going to amount to nothing. Well, you got it in you because the world copies you to make the great things. We look at all these other great things and we're really admiring ourselves. So this world, especially as a black man or black woman, black child, male, female, coming up, there's all these things to make us feel as though we're less. Exactly. So that's why we got to let our children know you're born ready. You just haven't found it yet. What if I had a Lamborghini outside and didn't know where the keyhole was to put the key in? You know what I mean? If there's a key for that. And I would think, oh, this is a big piece of pretty junk. No, it works. You have to find out how you work. And you always go through conventional means to find yourself. I'm a weirdo. I'm different. I want to be a weirdo. I want to be different. I want to be unique. I don't want to be cookie cutter that whatever everybody else is doing, I want to do. There's certain things that you have to learn, like coming online, and certain things, procedure that you do. But in life, the generation I grew up in, born in 63 and coming up in the 70s, we want to be different. You roll your pants leg up, I'm going to roll it up the other way. You tilt your hat to the side one way. I get a haircut. I'm going to put a line this way and that way. I want to rock my thing unique. But the thing is that this world wants to push us into this whole, well, I desire to be like everybody else. You're not supposed to be. Yeah, there's similarities that we all have. But especially as Black people, they want us to be mentally corralled into this thing called mediocrity. They're not going to say that. But at the same time, through the back door, they're robbing our brilliance. They're robbing our creativity. They're taking it for themselves. And then we look at them like, oh, man, look what that white man, look what, but behind the scenes, it's us.
Exactly.
Like how the man, the molds for the building to pull in the side. Don't have to pay nobody. He out here in Africa, he had the concrete, he built the molds and scraped the thing across, boom, let it dry and put it up. Looks better than anything I've seen in America.
But the reality of it is that one of them other kind of people are gonna go there and see his stuff, right?
and mass
hang
produce.
around him and get the hang of what he's doing, learn how he's doing it, and bring that shit back to their country, whether it's here or Europe or whatever. And all of a sudden now they're the creator of this particular process.
But they could never create though. That's the thing. They always have to suck
They
off.
they they right. They copy,
That's right.
but then they'll take it for themselves. They'll appropriate it to themselves,
Yes.
you know?
Yes. So, that being said, like I said, don't be psyched like that. They want you to have your vibration lowered for their benefit, but they want to have the offspring of theirs maximized as much as it can. But they're like that little baby who can't reach the third shelf, on the cupboard. They got to stack it up with chairs and sometimes fall. But we walk in there tall and can just reach it, and we thanking them. You reach it off the shelf for them and say, "Oh, thank you," when they give it back to you. Get out of here. We're the ones. Serious.
Yes.
We thank you for something. Yeah.
Yes. That's so sad. That's why earlier when you were talking about the creativity and the jealousy and stuff like that, I was about to say that you don't ever want to copy anybody. Even if you see some and once again.
But it's you can be inspired by somebody.
Yes, but not copy,
what you have. Right.
Yeah. Because that's what they do. Once again, it comes right back. And I always look at, because I'm into cooking and whatever. And I used to, when I watch TV more, get down into the cooking channel, because you always want to learn new recipes and stuff like that. But what always got to me were these so-called big chefs that were pulling down the big money on these cooking platforms, right? And what they would do, they would create these shows that were like, oh, it's a competition and we're going to see how you do and blah, blah. And they would go into our neighborhoods, go to our towns, right? Find out who is touted as a really phenomenal chef or cook or whatever you want to call it. Go there and say, okay, we're gonna do XYZ. You know what they would do? You have let's use Mrs. Scurv because she's brilliant in her cooking. And she has a recipe for her salmon that you love so much, right?
Mm-hmm.
And everybody knows that that's a great recipe and that she just knocked that shit out the park. So they're going to come now and they're going to be like, okay, you make your salmon and I'm going to make my salmon. And they know how you make yours. So what do? They add one more spice or one more little thing that they know their people like a lot, right? And
That's
so when the judging comes around now, it's like, okay, Mrs. Scurv's salmon tastes really wonderful. It's delicious. It's whatever, But this person now who just tweaked it just that little bit more. Oh, this is fabulous. This takes the cake. That's bullshit. That's bullshit. That's what they do. They go and they see what you do and they copy you and then they add, oh, I know my people love capers. And so I'll sprinkle some capers on the top of this. And all of a sudden it turns it into something that they just, this is my recipe. I thought of this. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. And it's the same thing with this young man and his art. Look, you are the only probably your artwork. I don't know if there's anybody who can freaking create that because there's just too much damn detail up in there. It ain't happening.
That's the purpose of it, though. That's the purpose of
it. Ain't happening.
My art early. No, really, when I first got it online, and I would post it freely, and I knew people can click it, and if you wanted to share it, I put a little like link to my. I didn't have a website then, right? So I used to have a email, on the bottom until people started to let me know as things got bigger and bigger out there in that circle. Like, yo, this dude got your stuff up on this discussion board, and they put their email address on there.
Oh wow!
Like, cut yours out. And I said, well, it's not okay, but what can I do about it? The bottom line is that let them replicate the style. Let them do something else where that's one of my pieces.
Exactly.
My thing is that maybe I won't do as much detail in something I want to do fast if I do a cartoon style. But if I do something cartoon style, if you leave me alone in the room, I'm going to keep on making it detailed so it looks like it's lifting up off the page.
Exactly.
That's the way I do it. And I don't think I'm in awe of other artists. I'm like, wow, I could never draw like that. I mean, I'll never say never, but like that's what comes out of you. So that's like what comes out of me. Like it is what it is, and I'm humble with that. I'm not like I am there's no greatest artist. Like that's saying what's the greatest plant,
right?
You know, I mean, you can have all the greatest plants in the world or whatever, but as soon as your ass catches malaria, the neem bush is the greatest plant, right?
What?
Because that's you with that, right? So it's all relative. It's all it really is all relative.
Yeah,
That's
it
the way
is. It is.
yeah. But yeah, I
But
got
I mean, don't cheat. That's what I'm saying. Don't cheat. Come up with your own shit and give credit where credit is due. You know, don't come in there and take people's stuff and then you don't give credit for where you got it. Okay.
Right.
What did they say? Imitation is the best form of flattery or whatever, you know. So it's okay if you know it. Look,
you have to take it that way, but it don't feel good. Like you're stealing my stuff and saying it's yours.
And saying it's yours. No, what I'm saying is imitate it, but give credit. Imitate it, but give credit. You know, because you'll go further if you say, you know, I got this idea from LanceScurv, or I got this idea from such and such a person. I'm putting a little spin on it, but I got the idea over here.
Right.
That's what you do. You know, you don't just come in and be like, oh, but you know, this is my latest creation. You know, and I just thought this up out of my head. Yeah, okay. All right.
Yeah, that's no good. I mean,
anyways.
Yeah.
Sir, Lance.
Yes,
sir. Yes. Almost 1 whole hour.
That's making up. That's making up for like not being
Hello again, everybody. You know, Lance, I had to. We just have to go in the flow. Get in, and do the damn thing. And you know, now we're on to the topic at hand.
And that's how we keep it fresh. It's not like, even though we have different topics we talk about, that may not be the majority of the show, but we're going to touch on those things. It's just the energy that we bring from the heart. That's why everyone is going to be different. Sometimes it'll be a little more laid back, a little more animated.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the way I feel. I'm charged right now, the way I feel. Even though I was so beat up and pushed so hard, tired, and I still feel the fatigue on me. It's still not away from me, but you know, I feel good. It's like when you get over a flu and you're still, but you're getting better, you know?
Right, right.
And ask me this just on the top of my head. It's so funny. Ask me this. It's like when you have a cold, you're like, oh, the mucus and you're coughing or whatever. And you're like, I can't wait till this cold is over. I can't wait for this cold to be over. I can't wait for this cold to be over. And the exact minute that it's over and you feel good, you don't even realize it. And after like, hey, wait a second. I don't have cold no more. It tiptoes out. So yeah, it's always that way, but it never makes sense else. But like right now, you're having the last cough, or you're blowing.
Listen, it tiptoes in too, because all of you could be going along perfectly okay right now, and then 2 minutes later, you start to feel a little funny in the nose, like you know, all of a sudden the air going into your nostril feels just a little bit cooler than it did before. You know, and then it starts to get cooler, and you start to feel the sinuses. And where'd they come from? It just tipped its ass toe right in, you know, tiptoed right in.
Cold is like pregnancy, only in its entrance. But pregnancy, you know it when you go through labor and all that pain.
Oh my God.
But as soon as you get pregnant, you don't know. Now, if you do things and it's unprotected, like, okay, I might be pregnant or whatever have you. But normally it's like you're going around for a couple weeks, you know, feeling okay until the friend doesn't come along the next month. Really know, like, oh, I gotta check this out. So it sneaks in quiet the same way pregnancy does.
And what? It don't tiptoe out pregnancy. Don't tiptoe out pregnancy, boss. Yeah.
No. That's one similarity. When it comes in, it's the same way it sneaks in on you. But because the cold will leave quietly just as well as it came, but the pregnancy
don't leave quietly.
People start, counting back. Okay, you about to drop this baby. It's a full-term pregnancy. We know what we're doing 9 months ago.
Yeah, pregnancy lasts for the rest of your life.
I gotta talk about this one. There's a young lady I knew back in Queens, back in the late 80s. My old girlfriend used to do her hair. And it was that household there is like about 3 women that lived together, and they had like very different lives, but they got along just fine. And she did the hair of all of them. So sometimes they would offer little things that were going on in the house, and my old girlfriend didn't really want to like entertain it, but it was entertaining, but she wasn't trying to that's hypocritical. So she's like, listen, I hear things, I'm not spreading nothing, whatever. But this is the thing. There were 2 women who they were out there. They were having sex. They had boyfriends. They were going to the clubs, and this is like in the 20s, right? And there's a woman that always, she never dressed. She got her hair done conservatively. She never went anywhere. She worked 2 jobs. She'd stay home while the other 2 girls were crashing from like, oh, we were out all night, whatever. She'd be home washing clothes. She'd even wash their clothes, go to the supermarket real quick, come back, and like she didn't do anything. Now these young ladies, you know, they were, you know, doing, you know, protected sex and all that stuff. And this woman here evidently wasn't having no boyfriends, wasn't having no sex, and she was nice, but she wasn't like dynamic where it's like, wow, I want to talk to her. To say it nicely, she was a little boring. She was just nondescript, mediocre, a little boring. Always wore her trench coat that she wore to work. You know, I forgot what she did, but on the weekend she had the same trench coat. She never dressed anything tight. She didn't really, you know, she was slender and she had a nice shape that you didn't notice. Okay. Just the whole thing was plain Jane, right? So one day came and they noticed that, they noticed she was moving different. And she announced, like, I just want to let you know that I'm pregnant. It's so much that she was pregnant. How the hell when did you get is this an immaculate birth?
It was immaculate.
They look back, there was nothing. They shared a common house phone. You know what I mean? Like instead of having 3 phones or whatnot, because that's back in the day. There wasn't no cell phones like it was. There were, but ain't nobody paying for that. Everybody had their own beeper though, right? So nobody called for her. She was never on the phone. Wasn't no different strange dude driving off in the car. Well, at least you could have got pregnant in the backseat of the car. Nothing. All her time was accounted for unless she got pregnant from somebody at work. And then after about she had the first child, and it didn't upset because they were like, oh, you're my sister, so we all gonna help out. But then she came pregnant again after she has a baby.
What?
She lives the same way, and now she's pregnant again.
What? And what? Where's the guy?
They never saw. They set up traps. They were looking for it. That was the thing between them. You got pregnant. We want to see who the father is. No father. But she said that there was a father. Of course there was a father. And she says, my relationship with the father is how do you what? And
with
so
the fathers, with the fathers.
No. I said it that way, but I'm saying she said father, and then there was another one. She moved out because now it was like upsetting the apple cart. 2 babies, and you know these girls want to have the other girls want to have their privacy. You know they had their little room. You know they were saving money and stuff like that. They could have all afforded their own apartment, but they said for a time let's get together and whatever. So they didn't mind the 1 baby, and they didn't have a chance to not mind it. But you know, here comes the second one.
Right.
Well, wouldn't you know that like they stayed in contact, and this woman eventually bought a house, which the way she worked before, and that was one of her goals, you know, and that was the goal of all of them. One wanted a condo, but another one wanted a house. She got the house with her 6 children and no man.
Hold on a second. Hold on. Hold on.
This wasn't a ghetto fight situation. It was very deep.
6 children
with the same man, but you never saw the man. Now they were like, they didn't want to be rude. Like at first, like, come on, who is he? Who is he? Oh, one day you'll meet him. Never met him. There was never like they would drive past the house like to be like, okay, we know he gonna pop up and move, or we're gonna see him cutting the lawn. We're gonna never.
How does that work?
Yeah, but
how do you keep that a secret?
No, but it was effortless, like the way she made it seem. And so she drove, but when they ran into in the supermarket, and it was like, oh, you parked outside or whatever. And she's like, what did she say to them? He was there, but she didn't say it like that. She took the groceries, put it in to the back of the car that they didn't see. Oh, let me just they realized like, where's the car after it? Like, it was always like, they just missed, the guy existed. It was on purpose, but it was like a ninja thing. They always just missed him.
Wow.
Didn't know nothing. They like, who is he? Where he come from? Oh, you'll learn in time. They never caught this guy. It was like, how do you do that? I mean, like, even by chance, come on, honey, let's go to the supermarket. And other friends see, oh, you know, I That's not a name. I saw Shirley and I saw her man. Nobody ever
Nothing.
saw. Yeah, but there was a man. It was a man.
He lived in another town.
Oh, on the flip side now, one of the young ladies, the other one, there's two, there's another one. She, at that particular point when she was out of the apartment, had a man who was taking care of her. You know, she's like a baby, but it wasn't some older dude. It was somebody like maybe 10 years older. And she was in her late 20s, whatever. So the guy was not even 40 yet. So he took care of everything. Wasn't no drug deal at that time. It was just somebody who, and she was stunning. She kept herself a certain way. So she roped the guy in. I mean, that's what it was. That's what she would say. But she wasn't screwing around at this point. So she had this woman, no, she wasn't bi. She had this man take care of everything. And it was fabulous for her. And then one day she came to get her hair done this years later from the other stuff. And she, tears. I don't know how she found out, but she found out that in Washington, D.C., now this is New York that she lives in, and in Washington, D.C., that man was taking care of another woman, and the woman looked just like her. And he had some business dealings between New York and Washington. And she found pictures somehow. Somehow she found this stuff up. And a little bit more I can remember, but that's the situation. She found pictures. And remember, there was no internet then.
Right.
There was somebody who, I think it was another guy who spilled it on him. And he was like trying to get back at him by showing her. The woman looked like her. The place that he decorated the place. Her place. And guess what? The same SHIT was in the place in Washington. Oh, man.
Get out.
Yeah, as much as it could be, the paint on the wall, because it was a different layout, obviously.
Right.
He could have built it. He probably would have built it the same exact way.
What the heck?
Yeah. Pictures of him and the other girl, pictures in this elaborate, bathroom, the same colognes up on the shelf.
Wow.
All the similarities. She had a nightie. She had a little see-through nightie, and she, the other woman. Same exact thing.
That's a lot of detail there, sir.
Yeah. And I don't forget that one. I don't forget that one. Yeah, that's my time was up a little more. I was like, oh no, too high.
Oh gosh. Oh well.
So, that's what it is. I mean, but it's amazing because, like I say, at the bottom of everything, in life, they may have degrees for it. Sometimes we can go to school and not like the school and get a degree, and you think the person's a specialist because they got this degree in this. I have a passion for human nature. I like to understand like these different things that happen. Why?
Right.
Like, and it's not a school thing because I didn't like school coming up. Really didn't. It didn't fit me, but I never lost a passion for learning. So I know a lot of odd, weird stuff that is not connected. That's what keeps me the way I am. It's not like, oh, you come to the LanceScurv Show or this platform is just one thing. That's why what we have here in discussions and people can't be just one thing.
Right. Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
What is it like? Like the other day, well, not the other day, I thought about it. There was this white guy, right? He was in Manhattan. It was a white guy who lived up in Washington Heights. And it was a predominantly black neighborhood at that particular time in the late 60s, early 70s. But you had Dominicans, you had Puerto Ricans there, and they're black too. We all got along, right? And there was a white midget who lived there. I mean, the big head type midget, So for little people, I'm making fun, right? But I'm like, I thought about it the other day. And I said, what was life like as a white midget in a black neighborhood? I think I would love to interview him. And some people would say, well, what you got white people over your channel for? Yo, as it relates to us, I want to know how he got along. Because,
exactly.
You know what I mean? So I have a curiosity, and that's what drives me. It's not like some people get a degree and that's it. They don't want to hear nothing about what that degree represents. And me, I like human nature. I see the news. Like, why? Like, what makes Vladimir Putin the blowhard that he is, using a white boy word, right? Blowhard, man. He's got issues somewhere. Look at Jaden Smith. He's got issues too. I'm not mad at him.
Yeah.
we got a few more minutes before we gotta, so we'll just touch on these little stories and whatnot. I'm not really gonna read out everything, but I'm gonna read a little bit because if you didn't realize it or know, there was a rumor going around that Jaden Smith was killed in a car accident.
I didn't know.
Yeah, well, I mean, in this information age, there are gonna be things happening, and you're not gonna know. You might not know for a long time and find out, man, that was like 3 weeks ago that was out there. You know, because social media and the algorithms, they have their way of presenting to you what you usually look at. And if it's something that's out of your little whatever, even certain things on YouTube that I look at a lot and it pops up on my personal screen, sometimes you don't see them no more.
True.
And you know, so if you didn't get
the
notification,
true. So true. Yes.
subscribe back again and be like, boom, boom, rattle it up. Because they're removing a lot of my subscribers. We do frequent shows every day, except for yesterday. You know what I mean? I was up for 2 days. Yeah. But they say here, not true. Jaden Smith shuts down bizarre rumor he's dead after fans claimed actor was in car crash in cruel hoax. The Karate Kid actor 23 fell victim to a cruel hoax on social media as a TikToker claimed he had died in an accident. You see, a rumor began circulating online on Wednesday night that Will Smith's youngest son had tragically passed away. Fans flooded Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok with their concern, with some asking if the rumors were true and others taking them as fact. R.I.P. Jaden, one fan tweeted, while another one asked, why am I hearing everywhere that Jaden Smith has died? What's going on? A Life in a Year actor quickly debunked the theories and proved he's very much alive by tweeting simply, invisible. Jaden is the second child of Will and Jada Pinkett. His siblings are Willow, 21, and half-brother Trey, 29. The actor previously sparked concern from his parents over his weight, with both stars feeling that he was wasting away. In late 2018, Jada said she and her husband realized he wasn't getting enough protein. He was wasting away. She added that Jaden just looked drained. He was just depleted. He wasn't getting the nutrients he should have been getting. Will said he was extremely nervous because he would always see dark circles under his son's eyes and his skin had a grayness to it. Between Jaden looking very thin, going viral, and an intervention from his parents, the actor decided to take it seriously and work to gain weight and improve his health. Now, the article goes on longer. I'll drop it in and I'll put it on TheLanceScurv.com with the corresponding post. Like right now, like, okay, we do things a little different. I may not make the post right away, but I'll have it on the homepage. But when I put this up as a post, I'll sometimes even have the whole article written out, so you don't have to go and click and link. So we'll do it that way.
Right.
But with the time that we have left, I'll say it like this. This is what's going to happen in this information age where people can tell a lie and it go viral because a lot of us, just because we see it in print, you know, on Twitter or Instagram or something, that, you know, we take it as gospel. It's like, oh man, look what happened. And we run with it. And I bet you there's some people out there who don't realize that he debunked it, and they might be fans. They still and crying, you know.
Exactly. Now, let me just say, I mean, we have a few more minutes. I mean, these other two topics, you know, those can be revisited because they're not going away. We could revisit them tomorrow.
2 minutes on each one, because like I said, just 2 minutes on each one, just because folks are going to look on their own.
It has started.
Invaded Ukraine. And I'm not even have to say much about that because you're going to get flooded with that. What I really want to say is that when I checked different sites that had the most search for stuff, this was number 8. And that's a damn shame. Even if you're not into, well, that ain't my fight, whatever. Let me tell you something.
It's going to be our fight.
And different things. Like what I heard as an interesting footnote, that there are people that, okay, let's take Russia, for example, and where they get their oil from. And because of the war, they won't be able to get the oil from the same sources.
Shut down.
But see, what's bad for one person is good for another, because these African, I don't know how to say it, the ones who have oil here in different countries on the continent, because Africa is not a country, it's a continent, but the different countries here, they're anticipating doing business with Russia because now they can't go to the original source, and they're saying it's good for them. So even in war, there's certain things that can happen that it's bad for one person. I mean, taking the emotion out of it. Nobody likes war. War is nothing. There's nothing good with that. But business wise, for some other people, they're like, okay, they can't go. They got to get it from somewhere. Hopefully,
yeah.
That's the nature of business on the highest level. Corporate leeches and looking for opportunity in something bad. But what are you going to do? I mean, if you had that business and it was suffering, and somebody came to you, no, morally it's right. You should wait until I'm going to let them make the. No, you're going to make money. That's the way it is.
I know.
It's just like the tire shop that opened up means a couple of blocks away from me on the other side of the Van Wyck Expressway. I was on the rich side and Jamaica was on the other side. I consider myself part of Jamaica, Queens growing up. The thing is that they had this tire shop that opened up. And I was out late one night and I was out in front of this girl's house. We were talking and I see this dude driving slow and I hear clink, 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 clink. This joker was driving slow and throwing out little short tacks and nails. And then we saw him in the next block and then we actually went to the backyard, right? I didn't mind that part. It was a better scenario for me with that girl, right? But anyway,
you are a mess.
And we can see straight to that. I said, I bet you he's going to go down and doing the same thing. I went out in the street. A little short text that can be picked up and give you a flat over time.
Right.
And I'm like, I know a guy who worked in that shop. I was like, yo, tell me the truth, man. I ain't going to blow you up. I said, what's up with all these taxes? So we started laughing. He said, oh, homeboy really did it. They paid him to do it. I was like, wow. Cruel. That's cruel for business. You see that? But that tire shop was
ingenious. Listen, ingenious. I can't knock him.
All I'm saying, all I'm saying is that with this war, it's going to get like redundant after a while. You're going to hear some of the same things. You might not be into the specific battles, and you may not even be the person. That's white people stuff. But no, it's going to affect us.
Right.
And we need to. And Brother Dave and I are going to do a show very soon, if not later, tomorrow, whatever. I got to see when he's ready to do it. And we're also going to do a dedication and remembrance of Brother Ross. So that's
perfect.
Real soon within the next 48 hours. So that being said, just think of this when you look at it, when you follow this thing. What does it mean to me? Think that.
Yeah.
What it means to my community. What does it mean to me? What does it mean to travel? What does it mean to, the economy? Remember, Russia and China are buddies. So China's itching if they want to deal with Taiwan. America crazy. It could be two things going on. So how are they going to fight two wars eventually in the United States? Is it going to be like we always think of things like, okay, when we hear about war, it's always over there, and you see civilians running through the street, things happening and whatever. But you see these things, but it could be America.
Yeah.
I mean, why? I don't want it to happen. Midtown Manhattan, buildings knocked down, people running, whatever.
Right.
This is thing, and then remember on that bill was another $20 bill before with the World Trade Center. And this may sound abstract. I'm just throwing it out.
Yes.
You saw how World Trade Center was folded over in the exact scenario with the smoke on one bill lower and the other one higher. Well, they got one right. Now, presently, I think it's a 20. I have to Google it, but it's a current
bill.
Current bill where when you fold it up, it shows buildings and it shows water coming up and a nuclear bomb landing in the water off the coast of somewhere.
Listen, don't start. Don't start.
Saying that World Trade Center was picture perfect.
Yeah, I know.
It was like I'm trying to stretch the imagination.
And listen, they got people over there in the Ukraine, where they're using for bomb shelters, which I can't even understand that right now. The subways.
What? That's a lot. Wow.
But they don't know where else to go.
Yeah, because that thing could crumble down on top of them.
I know.
But this is like, I'm not saying to get excited over every little thing and make drastic changes. I'm going to run here now and I got to go here. But the bottom line is like, I blanked out for a second. And
you sure did.
I caught it. A nuclear bomb lands, on your head. What are you going to do? So if it's like we said, when you transition, don't put yourself like, I'm going to walk across the highway with speeding cars. You're nuts then. But don't worry, like, I'm going to die one day. It's going to happen. How many of you don't like needles and got the needle when you were a kid? You were scared of the needle and then you got it and say, well, it really wasn't that bad. live life full. That will stop you from living a full life. If you saw these things about to mount, make whatever changes you can. And also to
And
don't be
if you
so
can, you can, you
right.
know.
To get yourself up out of a situation if it looks like it's brewing up, or just remove yourself away for a time and let's see how this looks. Yeah, we have a family, we have elderly people who may have to be hooked up to machines to live, or cleanse out their blood, urine, whatever. Do what you can do, but don't let anything you, but watch everything. Now, if it's drastic and you see it and your spirit talks to you and says, yo,
get
people
up.
are calling me crazy in my family
Yes.
that whatever, I'm not going to sit here and be with you all. If you can't convince them, you love them, you got to leave them and do what you got to do to preserve your life.
Yep.
At the end of the day,
Absolutely.
it'll affect you,
Absolutely.
you know?
Absolutely.
Got to follow
Listen,
what's on the
you
inside.
know how you always tell me don't worry, because I always talk to you about current situation and how it makes me feel, and whatever. You always tell me, don't worry about it right now, because things always have a way of opening up or presenting opportunities present themselves. And that's what I'm looking at right now, because a couple of years ago when you were getting all these doomsday, shows and people, this is going to happen and this is going to happen in New York and the Statue of Liberty is floating in the ocean and blah. And I'm sitting there and I'm looking and I'm thinking to myself, and it kind of had me a little concerned. It's like, okay, I could get up and leave my mother. We could all just get up and leave her or whatever, but then you can't do that, you know? And so I told myself, well, you know what? If it comes down to it, I know if I'm by myself, or if we're with able-bodied people, I know what we're going to do. But if we're not with able-bodied people, it is what it is. It is what it is.
But
Shit
you
happens.
got to be of able mind. And a lot of
Yes.
our minds are so caught up. That's why I said
Yes.
this war jumping off, we need to know as mature adults that we're not going to worry and God and freak out. But
No.
what's gonna affect your life more? The last penis that Kim Kardashian sucked, or a war in a country where we're so connected to them, even if it's not me personally? Like, yeah, I was on the phone with Putin last night and he told me. No, it's not like that. But these things will affect you. They drop a bomb anywhere in the world, you got to worry about or concern yourself about how the current of the ocean goes, because it will bring nuclear stuff over by you. Do you have enough water?
Exactly.
You see what I mean? Rainwater in certain areas are not going to be good, whatever. It's going to poison certain.
Right.
Children will be born in the next generation with deformities. It might deform your sperm or your womb. Let me touch this last one real quick, and then we're going to go on to the show with Sandra Hinton.
Yes.
Trauma Thursdays. And I just want to say this one here. Kyle Rittenhouse threatens to sue Whoopi Goldberg for allegedly calling him a murderer. Well, I mean, that's her opinion, right? 3 months after Kyle Rittenhouse was acquitted of all charges in the shooting deaths of 2 protesters in Kenosha, Wisconsin, he now plans to sue the media, celebrities, politicians, and athletes, including Whoopi Goldberg, for calling him a murderer and white supremacist. By Yahoo, Rittenhouse, 19, appeared on Tucker Carlson tonight, Monday, to speak about launching the Media Accountability Project. Do you understand how this is going to change things, right? To raise money to pay for his potentially hefty legal fees. Rittenhouse says he and his team have compiled a list of media companies and individuals that they plan to face off against in court for the lies they said about him. Right now, we're looking at quite a few, Rittenhouse said. Politicians, celebrities, athletes. Whoopi Goldberg's on the list. She called me a murderer after I was acquitted by a jury of my peers. She went on to still say that. And don't forget about Sink Uyghur from the Young Turks. He called me a murderer for the verdict and continues to call me a murderer. In November, Rittenhouse was acquitted of all charges after pleading self-defense in the deadly Kenosha shootings, the Associated Press reported. The teenager, per the Associated Press, had been charged with homicide, attempted homicide, and reckless endangering after killing 2 men. Oh, they're probably going to come after them too. He did kill them, killing 2 men and wounding a third with an AR-style semi-automatic rifle during a tumultuous night of protest over police violence against Black people in the summer of 2020. Overwhelmingly white jury deliberated for close to 3.5 days. Rittenhouse was white, as those he shot were facing life in prison and found guilty on the most serious charge of first-degree murder. Okay, so some people in the past have said, well, that's just white people killing white people. It's white on white crime. And it was at a protest rally where, they're speaking about, black people getting killed. There was a lot of mixed, feelings with that.
Yeah.
They were, well, and then you have the weapons thing and the right to own arms.
Listen.
And he shot someone else, and he brought the weapons across state line, possibly. There's a whole lot of things that made this a special case to watch. You see what I mean? So now he's coming after everybody, but can you come after the media? They're stating their opinion.
And our brothers would not fare so well. That's the shit that we need to really talk about. See, he wants to go and he wants to sue Whoopi for calling him whatever he claims that she called him. Duck, 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 go. Everybody get what I'm saying. If it,
all these people who supported him,
right?
But all who supported him and gave him money, where are they now? Or is this just a money grab?
Money grab.
You can't tell me he didn't get money from all these right wing.
Oh yeah, he did. He raised millions on GoFundMe.
Him and George Zimmerman can hang out. Because what does he do?
And cry together. Yeah,
he's got money. You know what I mean? Even still, yes, George. The whole attention is off you these days, but I'm going to put a little $100,000 in your account to keep you going or whatever. And he's alive. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
While we do have some of us who kill each other, but they call it black on black crime. But I haven't heard anybody say anything about Rittenhouse with the white on white crime, which is the majority out there. That's the majority of what's out there. FBI, go to the statistics, and with mass shootings, the overwhelming majority of them are done by angry white men. Why don't they say that? Why don't we bring up the term white on white crime? Let's do that as much as we can to even things out. Also, right now, I'm being harassed by a nutcase, a woman who years ago we did some shows together. She seemed to be okay in the head, but she went off the deep end, super conspiracy theorist, and I'm part of this so-and-so Knesset and the FBI this, and I'm a minister. She's a nutcase. And she's sending me messages now because she started to send me all these emails with all this foolishness.
Oh, that one?
Yeah, I'm going to make a post of this. I'm going to go to some of the older emails. Yeah. But now, yesterday, you dumb nigger, you messed up now. You're in Ghana. I'm going to reach out to the Ghana government, let them know what you are. You're self-serving and all this and that. You dumb nigger, you prick, you messed it up now. Okay, I'm just going to put it out there. If she continues, I'll forward it to the FBI and let them deal with her. I'm going to let her do it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I can put a bullet in your head. Oh, okay. Now you're threatening. Now you're through. See, all because I said, listen, please cease sending me these emails. She would, the blind carbon copy, or in the carbon copy too, had all the media outlets in the damn world.
I know.
I sent it to you and you saw it.
Yes.
And they were long. What the hell?
It's why the hell are you? Listen, you did the right thing because I mentioned it to you. I'm like, why the hell is she implicating you in the bullshit she's putting out there? Why does your email address have to be caught up in that?
Because they're going to look at me. I mean, the government's already looking at me. But it's things like that make them look at me because, okay, let's check out who this is. But they can see. Anyway, we got 2 more minutes before we got to go into the next show.
Okay.
Let's wind this down. We don't have time. It's like, okay, we got 90 seconds.
Bye, guys. See you in a few minutes.
Play a little music. We're going to get off and come back on. And this was a good high energy thing. And that's why I like to just come out. Boom, boom, boom. Nobody complains about a first round knockout. But if you have a 15-round fight that's boring, I'm not saying we're boring, but let's boom, just bring it.
Ain't nobody on this damn platform boring. Shit.
Oh, I know that. But compared to some
real quick,
that last so long and they just sit around scratching their head.
I love that thoughts of Terry is. I hope she's back. Is she back?
Yeah,
she back?
Yeah, she's back. Yeah.
That was awesome this morning. That was really nice to wake up to. Yeah, I missed her voice. Yes.
Okay, here we go.
All right. Take care, guys. Bye.
All right. See you in a little while.
I take pack to the lung, kill the stress to the heat.